she's just off the street from, a lower income area trying to make it. This is somebody who comes from money. So why didn't they just loan her one of their houses or buy her own Mercedes? I don't think Charlie, and it's such a karmic, beautiful, pointed picture that his daughter grew up to do that, because he was a lover of hookers forever. And the fact that his daughter grew up to sort of go into that adult entertainment genre is not a surprise that happened. And it does force him to look in the mirror of how he saw all the women that he paid for over the years. So I love Charlie Sheen, but it's different when you have kids. The universe sometimes gives us a mirror that comes as a child for us to really look at our own self and question our own choices. So I think he really had no choice but to relent, and in order to be in her life. I don't know.
Yes. Because and also I think with Denise is, look, I think she had this horrible experience the first time around because, her Lisa Rinna was her very good friend and she threw her under the bus. So look, I think she probably pre-gamed at home. Like, I get it. You were nervous.
Okay, we've all pre-gamed, but that, like, she was already at the World Series when she got there. Come on, David.
Yes.
I mean, it was hard to miss. That wasn't like your friend walking in tipsy from a couple of glasses of wine. She had gone left a long time ago. Like, she went sideways.
Yes. And to your point earlier, like, girl, you've already been down this road. Like, they're not your friends. These producers, right. Evolution, they're not whatever they're looking. So you go in there buttoned up, you smile, you look to your left, you look to your right, you look down at your phone to make sure the check cleared and just say as little as possible. Like, whatever you do and say is going to be used against you. Like, at least Camille. Now, Camille, too, I do think it's a missed opportunity because Camille is like Sutton. I'm not saying she's getting her 300,000 a month, but Camille, when she opens her mouth, she don't care either. She has some real dingers and she'll stand right up to Kyle.
Great. And she looked great when she walked in. It's like, okay, good for you. She had it together. And the thing that was funny, I kept watching Camille's face with Denise in the car next to her, and Denise, bless her, was already blurred. And I'm looking at Camille's face, and she just had that little smirk on her face, like she was amused, but also maybe relieved it wasn't going to be herself that was the target this time. That's the thing that's so terrible about the show. You go on an episode and you have to now wonder, am I the one they're going to come for? Or did producers say to Camille, let's let so-and-so work out their problems. So, just hold your tongue and we'll let you know if there's a time that you need to come in or, confront somebody. And that's really what it is. They call it like talking it out, but it's not really talking it out. It's yelling, it's fighting, and there's anger. And Kyle came across bitter. She's just so bitter. And it's like she's mad at the circumstances of her life and her marriage falling apart. And if she was happy with Morgan, I don't think she'd be quite as bitter. So again, is that like a real thing? Because if you're happy in your relationship, you don't really care about the other one. You're more focused on this new person that lifts you up and makes you feel happy. So it's sort of an indicator that their relationship seems very disingenuous.
I could see that. And, I'm okay with that. Like, if they say to, Camille, hold back or whatever, but then it's like, that's where it's so obvious that you're 6 seasons in, you have nothing this season. People are bored. Yeah. And you're like, wait a second. Remember that first dinner party? Oh, wait, Camille. Okay, great. She's in, granted, Denise is almost like an afterthought because I almost understand why Camille and Faye are there because we're trying to recreate this and everything. You're lucky you threw Denise in there because she was the whole, but it's like, why not save Camille for 5 episodes from now? This was like too much. We're just trying to throw in there to get something out of this season. And so to me, it's like, if anyone thinks this is like real, it's so set up and fake. And it's like, that's where it's like, it would be different if Denise was best friends with Kyle and Camille
Right.
talked to Erica every day, and there's no connection. It's a producer
No.
said, here is the
Yeah.
guest list. Look at the
They
call
threw in
sheet.
a ringer. They threw
Yeah.
in a ringer because, you know, Beverly Hills, Hollywood, all very small places, small towns. And the word on the street goes out. So if Denise was having problems and she was somebody that had been on the show before, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is how soulless the producers are. Oh my gosh, let's get her on the show, because she's going through something, and that'll just make the episode so much better, because we're not going to get that from the women on the show that are trying to mind their P's and Q's because, they don't want to upset their families, or, they see how bad it can be and they want to be a part of the show and capitalize on it, but they don't want to pay the price. So you see them do sort of that peripheral dance where they try and walk a line. So they had to get somebody who just was in a place to not think and maybe not care. So they would have heard what's going on. When there was something going on in Beverly Hills, you heard, and it went through the grapevine real fast because there's not a lot of people there. It's a very small area and everybody's influential and has status, and everybody knows everybody. And Charlie Sheen lived in Paris's neighborhood. They were neighbors because when I went over to Paris Hilton's house, my friend Perla took me to Charlie's house once. He wasn't home, but we knocked on his door because they were having a Halloween party at Perla's, So we were going to invite him over, but they live in a very small gated community too. So that's its own bubble. It was fascinating. I couldn't stay there for the well-being of my children and my marriage because I wanted to stay married forever. And I was seeing that people didn't there, but you're never bored. They do have the best parties, not Kyle's, hers suck, but real parties are fantastic. It was just hard to watch that episode, knowing what Charlie and Denise had gone through, and what she was one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood, and she's a good actress. And I'm just sorry that she didn't go back into that and maybe help her daughters with acting careers or music careers, rather than OnlyFans. It's just, I don't know. It just, sometimes there's no parent in the house there. I know our daughter went to Beverly High, and we'd take her to friends' houses, and we're regular people. So we're used to meeting the parents, but there were never parents home. We met the maid that was at the house or their driver, and that's what it is. So the parenting can be kind of lacking there because the people that live there are so important and so in the entertainment industry, most of them. And so it's very a skewed way of seeing